Welcome back to my podcast. I cannot believe how long it's been. It has been so long, and I'm feeling really inspired just to create heaps of stuff right now. And I think creating a podcast and being able to just talk is so expressive to me, whether like social media, it's just so limited. It's quick bait. So I felt inspired to record a podcast today, and I have a puppy in the background that's gone absolutely nuts. So we'll see how well this actually works out. But specifically in this episode, I actually wanted to talk about being a highly sensitive person and how to navigate that, because I am a highly sensitive person, and let me tell you that it has been so challenging. I mean, it is one of the hardest things that I have struggled with, and something that I'm learning to adapt and work with, whether before I really hated it and I didn't understand it. And I feel like if you understand it, you will really be able to learn to love it and see the gifts that lies within the sensitivity that you naturally have. So firstly, I got my notes on the side, and I just wanted to go over my opinion of the 2 reasons why you could be highly sensitive. And these are just my opinions, but the information that I get, it comes from source. And I know that may sound crazy, but I know things, and I don't know how I know them, I just know them. Like, I know so many things. I know so much, and I'm not tooting my horn because I'm not saying this is a good or bad thing, but I know information without knowing how I know it or even having lived it. And I'm like, how do I know it? And I remember just going within and meditating and just learning to listen to my inner world. And I discovered that the information just comes from source. Like, it has to come from source, because where else is it going to come from? I don't know where, life experiences, yes, but I just know shit, and I don't know how I know it, but I know it. So anyway, so this is based on my knowledge and what kind of has been brought to me through source. So there are 2 main reasons, I believe, as to why you could be highly sensitive. And the first reason is you were born with heightened sensitivity. And this is actually backed up by astrology. Like, if you go and look at your astrology chart, and there are certain placements that explain how some people are more tapped into the spiritual world, and how they gain their information, just like exactly what I explained. And for me, and just knowing what I know about my astrology, I know this is like the 12th house signs are more connected to the spiritual realm than the physical. The physical realm is like more of the first house placements, and Pisces placements too. So that's just a little fun fact. But you could have been born into this world already with heightened abilities. And to me, and how this looks like, I can feel other people's emotions so intensely and so deeply. I can hear really well as well. Like, I can hear things, subtle, like very tiny, like minute sounds that most people can't. And that, to me, I have no idea how that happened. And so I believe that we are born into this world with heightened sensitivity and heightened abilities, which are actually our gifts. And I've learned how to see this as a gift. And then the second thing is it is all played into your, not all of it, but it is played into your environment growing up, which is your trauma. And this is more so how you develop hypervigilance and hypersensitivity, because it's something that you adapt to and you learnt growing up as a way to survive. And I'm very hypervigilant. I'm very hypersensitive in the way that I know that I had to that I didn't feel safe growing up in my environment, just having because I see myself as this sweet, sensitive little girl already in this world. And for me, growing up in environments that didn't necessarily feel safe to me was picking up on people's energy or their emotions and having to learn to adapt to survive. So when you grow up in an environment, when you grew up in an environment where maybe you had a reactive parent, or you constantly just felt unsafe and you felt like you had to walk on eggshells, you develop hypervigilance, which is like your nervous system learns how to pick up on subtle cues, on little minute things in your environment around you to predict any potential threat or danger. That's where hypervigilance kind of comes from. And I know highly sensitive people went through really tough childhoods and experiences growing up where they have had to learn, their nervous system has had to learn how to read cues and read the room and things like that to essentially survive and learn to feel safe and adapt. And that has been a huge thing for me as well. So I believe it's both of those things, and I think everyone is different. So maybe you resonate to one more than the other. Maybe you can go look at your astrology chart and see if you have any of those 12th house placements or Pisces placements or any other placements that I may not be aware of. This is just what I'm aware of. I have a 12th house stellium, so it makes sense for me. But those are the two main things, obvious reasons as to why someone would be highly sensitive. And the biggest obstacle for an empath or a highly sensitive person, is that they are empathic. And when you're empathic, you often take on the role of other people's emotions. You take on the responsibility of others as your own, and that can feel very draining. It can feel very exhausting and tiring, which is something that I have found. Me going out in society, I find really hard because I still, with, both of the things that I mentioned before, I still kind of scan my environment to see if there's any danger. And I'm also very high sensitive. My nervous system is still on high alert. I'm still learning to regulate my nervous system to feel safe being seen, to feel safe not taking on other people's energies and emotions and things like that around me. So I'm still learning that. And one thing I've noticed is that because I hold so much empathy for others as a learnt thing and as a gift of being able to feel other people's emotions, and that's what I kind of now teach within my clients' coaching sessions and things like that. But what I found was an issue, which is what I had to learn to adapt to, was that I was taking on other people's energies and mistaking it for my own. So whenever someone would feel upset, I would take it on as my responsibility, and I wouldn't even realize I'm doing this because it was so instinctive. It was just something that I was so used to doing. It was just a habit. But that was like the first thing that I had to learn to do as a highly sensitive person, was to just become aware and familiarize my emotions and what's going on in my internal world and what's going on around me. And this affected me in my relationships and when I used to work in a 9 to 5, my friends. I used to take on other people's stuff, especially in families, dynamics, all of that. So my number one thing that I started doing as I was learning to heal and use my sensitivity for me and not against me was being able to become aware and differentiate. I can never say that word. Differentiate? We're just going to leave it at that. The difference between what's mine and what's theirs. And it can be as simple as asking that question. Is this my emotion? Is this theirs? Is this my responsibility or is this theirs? And then taking it a step further and asking, what are my needs? What are my emotions? And it sounds so simple, but as a highly sensitive person, getting lost in the energies of the world around you, you kind of don't really know that. You don't really know. And it's something that you want to practice getting good at, because if you don't, you often feel so drained and exhausted and almost like you feel like the life is getting sucked out of you, because essentially you are draining your energy. You're giving your energy away to people, places, and things that don't deserve it, that are taking advantage of you. And it becomes so exhausting. And I remember I used to nap. I used to nap once or at least twice a day. I used to be the girl that napped. Everyone in my family, family friends, they all knew me as the girl that needed a nap. Like 3 o'clock, scheduled nap, I need to sleep. And I used to think it was normal. I then used to think it was low iron. And then I realized, because I went to the doctors and they couldn't find anything. But then I realized, I actually tapped into the spiritual side of things, where I learned about my astrology, my birth chart. I also learned that I'm a projector in human design, and all of these things that don't make sense to the typical system and the typical way of how the world is viewed. And I started looking at it from a spiritual perspective, and that started to make more sense to me. That also started to make more sense to me because naturally, for me, I always understand energy more than English. As you can tell, I'm not very good at talking. I have never been good at talking because everything that I have in here in my brain, I struggle to be able to speak it out loud. I don't know why. I do know why. I have a 12th house Mercury, which is communication. I really struggle with being able to communicate because I just can't get it out. But it's all in my brain. So that's why I'm learning to speak slower and trying to get my words right. Otherwise, it won't make any sense to you guys. So just bear with me with that. And see, I've even forgotten where I was before, because I've gone off on a tangent. But going back to being highly sensitive, because this is the whole point of the podcast, if you really struggle with being highly sensitive, I believe your energy is so pure. I believe that, and I've met highly sensitive people that are so, that their energy is just beautiful. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's a feeling. I feel safe around highly sensitive people. I feel connected. I feel like home, which is maybe weird to say, but I love highly sensitive people, and I hope that I can connect more to highly sensitive people, because I believe that those are the people that are going to change the world, this world, because we need their light and their energy. But the thing that I need to say about a highly sensitive person, if this is you, is that you may have gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. You may have had a tough upbringing. You may not feel like you belong. You may have felt different. You may feel unseen. You may feel unheard. You may feel like people don't understand you. Maybe you carry a lot of shame. You have a lot of wounds internally, and this is part of your mission, because this has been a huge part of my mission. It's really to learn about yourself, learn about who you are and not what the world wants you to be, because you are not like everyone else. You are very different. You are just a pure soul that decided to come to earth to change things up. But through that journey, you've had to overcome and learn or unlearn certain things in your life so that you can be the alchemist and help others. This is what I believe. And I've met highly sensitive people that are just so incredibly beautiful and soft and genuine. And those people are, some of those people have gone through like the most challenging of times because of how beautiful their energy is. And one thing that I would like for you to know as a highly sensitive person is that you will automatically and unconsciously, unwillingly attract unhealed people or people that will hurt you or damaged people, because you naturally have a healing energy. And I want this to land for you. So I'm going to say this again. You will attract people that are hurting or damaged people over and over and over again because you have a healing energy. And this comes naturally and it's already innately within you. You actually don't need to do anything because it's you. It's like your core energy. So if you experience feeling hurt over and over and over again, this is because of your energy. And when someone who is hurt or damaged can sense your healing energy, will come back and take more and feed off it and take as much as they can out of you because they can and because they need it. And so it's your responsibility to protect your energy and to learn to heal the self-abandonment issues, to heal the part of you that just wants to fix them, to change them and to help them, because it's not your job, it's not your responsibility to help them or to fix them. It's not your path to do that. They're on their own journey and they need to figure it out for themselves, as hard as it may sound for a highly sensitive person being so empathic. You just want to help them, I understand, but it's not your job to. It is not your job to. Your job is to protect your energy and to learn to set boundaries and use your discernment, because you have such a pure healing energy already within you. When you learn to do this, you will be able to attract people who are ready to do their own healing and won't take from you. They will be willing and are wanting to do the work and will need and want your assistance and your guidance, or even just being in your energy will help heal them. So it's not even essentially you needing to do something, but it's just your healing, your aura will naturally help someone, and that's what you're meant to do. And this can look like in many different ways. You can do this in a bunch of different ways. But the right people who won't take you for granted and who won't suck the life out of you, who actually genuinely are ready to do their own work, they will be able to find you, and you will be on the same resonance, the same frequency, if that makes sense. So that is kind of a big part of your mission as a highly sensitive person. It's really to learn to set boundaries and to learn to use your discernment so that you don't allow people who are damaged or who are going to hurt you into your life, and also to be aware of that tendency that you have to want to fix and want to change people because you probably see the best in them and you see their potential. And I know highly sensitive people see the best in people. Like I know you probably see the best in people that are damaged or that are hurting, because maybe you can even resonate and you understand what they're going through, but again, it's not your responsibility. And this is something that I've had to really learn. And I used to do this in my relationships. I used to attract damaged people, toxic people, emotionally unavailable men, avoidant men, and I used to try to change them or help them because I saw the potential. This was coming from a place of love. But every single time I ended up hurt or they drained my energy, I felt so exhausted. I felt used. And I remember thinking, why? And I used to blame them. I used to feel annoyed and I used to feel betrayed, which left me with a lot of trust issues. And I realized that this was because I was abandoning myself, thinking that I could help them and fix them. Being a highly sensitive person, I just want to fix people. I want to help people because I know that's my mission, but it's not my responsibility. And that's another thing that I'm going to say is being a highly sensitive person, you probably know that you have a purpose, or there's a part of you, part of your purpose or mission in life is to help people, be of service. And I want to explain this as best as I can to help you understand. If you have this mindset that going in to whatever you're doing as though I need to help people or I just want to help people and I want to serve people, it often leaves you misaligned and you draining your energy again with overexerting your energy and giving your energy away to the wrong people because it's coming from a place of I need. And I know it can be tricky because for me, I've always known I wanted to help people. And I guess because I was stuck in survival mode and being a people pleaser and needing validation, I just had that in my mind so much that I was so driven by it that I wasn't grounded. I wasn't rooted in my why. And I attracted people who kind of took advantage of me. And so rather than going into the mindset of going into the mindset of I need to help people, how can I help people? How can I do this? You can shift it into, well, what does my energy bring in this moment right now? Because you could literally just smile to someone and you could have changed their whole day. You could have changed their whole life. You don't know, right? I'll give you an example. So I was catching the train in Melbourne and this guy next to me was crying. He was like sobbing. And it was really weird because I'm pretty sure I remember that day I was meant to catch an earlier train or something like that. And for whatever reason, I ended up catching this train. But before I caught the train, I sat next to this guy who was sobbing his eyes out. And he was very obvious about it. He wasn't trying to hide it. And I remember sitting next to him, or he sat next to me. And I just asked him, I said, "Are you okay?" And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, "Would you like to talk about it?" And he said no. And I said, "That's okay." And then I remember sitting there and I remember just sending him love, sending him healing energy and support. And I remember leaving, like getting on the train and going about my day and thinking how much I affected him by just doing that. And I kind of received confirmation from like source or whatever. It was just a little bit of confirmation. And what we don't realize is that our energy can shift someone into someone's day entirely or shift someone else's energy entirely. You don't have to physically do something to create an impact in someone else's life. And so I remember I wanted to, because I was in the mindset of I need to be of service. I need to help people. I need to get clients, all of that. I shift my focus and I said, okay, how can I utilize my energy and do that instead? And so some ways that I did that was like, if I would go to a cafe, I would smile at someone, I would compliment someone, I would just make my energy available to people in the room without obviously overexerting and giving it away to people willingly. I'd also clear my energy and all of that. But what I found myself in places or next to people or whatever, in rooms where they needed my energy, and I didn't necessarily know why or what was going on, but I just knew that they need my energy, and that was just my job complete. And being a highly sensitive person now, this is how I see it. This is how I view my life. So my life isn't really about how can I be of service and get this much clients and make this much money or make this much of an impact. It's not really about numbers. It's more, how can I utilize my energy to impact just one person? And if you start there, oh my gosh, you won't realize it, I don't think, at the beginning, but you're actually changing people's lives just by your energy alone. And if you close your eyes and you imagine someone that may be having a tough time, a family member, a friend, a loved one, you just close your eyes and you send them love and healing energy, boom, that actually helps them and it impacts their life, and you're actually supporting that person in the way that you may not know that how, or you may not know that they need it. And it actually creates shifts. And I love doing this because now, like, when I enter a cafe, like, I show up with this vibrant energy and this love energy. And even though it's so subtle, I know, because I can feel the shift in the room, the energy is completely shifted. And a lot of people, I notice now, will smile at me or will gravitate towards me more. And this is just because of my energy. And being a highly sensitive person, that naturally happens. You will have people who will naturally gravitate towards you more. You may not know why, but it's because you have healing energy. You have such a magnetic, beautiful energy. You just want to make sure that you're not utilizing it on and using it on people that don't deserve it or who will drain you, because you're kind of giving your energy away to the wrong people. That's not what you came here to do. So hopefully all of this makes sense, and hopefully you've learned more about yourself in terms of being a highly sensitive person, because I know it's not easy. I know it's like you feel completely different to the world because you aren't taught these things. And I know emotions for a highly sensitive person can be crazy. Like, we as females, we're very hormonal. And for me, because my emotions are especially heightened, I'm very emotional. I'm extra sensitive when I have my period. I'm extra sensitive when something's going on astrologically, and I just don't try to numb it anymore, and I don't try to make sense of it. I just learn to hold space for myself. I learn to ask myself what I need, and this has become part of my life because it is who I am, and I no longer try to follow the rules of what everyone else should want me to be. And just because I'm a highly sensitive person, I do what I want, and I've kind of created a life that supports me and my nervous system and my sensitivity now, because before, working a 9 to 5 and being busy all the time did not support my nervous system. And if you are currently in this life, like living this life, and you're struggling, it's because your nervous system wasn't built for that life. It wasn't built to live that way. And it's time to start making decisions on what you can do to slow yourself down and heal your nervous system. And this was something that I had to learn to gradually do. I didn't just quit and start working a business or whatever. I haven't actually worked, like, even in my business, I haven't worked in like over 1.5 years. No, 2 years. I haven't physically worked. I haven't created a new product. I haven't done any of that for 2 years. And you think I'm stressed out of my brain thinking, how am I going to make money? Absolutely not. And this is just a little side thing, which I'm kind of proud of because it took me a while to get here. But it's because I've taught my nervous system that it's safe and what true safety actually feels like. And it's not built on external things. And so for me, being a highly sensitive person, I've had to learn to slowly and gradually get rid of things that were making me stressed the fuck out and making me feel drained. Because like I will tell you, I used to play basketball, I used to play netball, I used to go to the gym every morning before work. Like from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, I was so busy. I was go, go, go. And that life did not support my nervous system. That life did not support my sensitivity because I was so disconnected. I was very disconnected from myself. I was disconnected from my intuition, from my emotions, from my authenticity. So I had to slowly get rid of things and slowly learn to heal my nervous system, to rewire my nervous system, to feel safe and to slow down and to go inwards. And by doing this is when I learned, oh my gosh, my sensitivity, it's not a bad thing. And I've stopped blocking it out. So what are some things that you can do that can help heal your nervous system? Because your nervous system is probably the foundation for the rest of like your body and your operating system. And I know you probably think it's your mind, but it's actually your nervous system. And you want to attend to your nervous system first, because once you attend to your nervous system, which is the foundation, it's like the foundation of your house, if that makes sense. So it's like you need the foundation of the house before you can add the bricks and all of that stuff. Once you attend to that, then everything else in your life kind of follows through and works out, like comes together. And I find being a highly sensitive person, because your nervous system is hypersensitive, it's important to start to eliminate things that are creating chaos in your nervous system and making you stressed out, and start doing things that are going to soften your nervous system, that are going to help slow you down and help connect you and ground you. Because this is very important for a highly sensitive person. I believe that highly sensitive people were not born to work a 9 to 5 and to operate under the current societal systems that were built, because they're not built around us. They're not built really around females at all. But specifically for you, you want to start consciously making choices that are going to support your nervous system. And that's just honestly, that's the honest truth. That's what I started doing 5 years ago. I remembered making those choices of slowly getting rid of like basketball, slowly getting rid of this thing, slowly getting rid of seeing these people because they were triggering and they were draining my energy. And then slowly learning to set boundaries and slowly asking myself, well, do I actually want this, or is this draining me? I mean, I used to go out clubbing and I hated it. And it used to drain the life out of me. I used to drink. I never liked drinking, but I used to do it because I wanted to fit in. Now I don't do any of that because it doesn't support my nervous system. It doesn't help me. It actually makes me feel yuck. So I got rid of all of those things. And I mean, if you want to do those things and they don't they don't affect you, then that's fine. But if they do affect you, then it's about making those conscious decisions to get rid of things that aren't serving and helping and supporting your nervous system. So that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to tune into the next episode. If you would like coaching, or if you want to look at my courses, or if you just would like my guidance and my help and my support, then be sure to check out using the link below.